Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, coming up in the next hour. After US strikes, Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi says country attacked on a false claim, urges the international community to condemn attacks. President Trump, in address to nations, says Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities completely obliterated, warns Iran must now make peace.
Many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, expresses deep concern on recent escalations, says dialogue and diplomacy only way. World leaders urge restraint after US attack on Iran. UN chief calls for de-escalation. UK, EU leaders push for negotiations. US strikes escalate West Asia conflict. Israel launches new attack on Iran after many hurt in Iranian strikes. The United States launched airstrikes on 3 major Iranian nuclear facilities early on Sunday, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hailing US President Trump's bold move. In response to the strikes, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi accused US of committing a grave violation of international law, urging international community to condemn attacks. Here's a report.
Entered the Israel-Iran conflict by launching airstrikes on 3 of Iran's key nuclear facilities. American B-2 stealth bombers targeted Fordo, Natanz and a third site near Isfahan in an overnight operation. The strikes mark Washington's first direct military involvement in Israel's ongoing campaign against Tehran. Addressing the nation after the strikes, President Trump said that the US military conducted a very successful attack. He said the attacks were to stop Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hailed Trump's decision as a bold move. He said Trump's decision to strike Iran will change the course of history.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America, God bless Israel, and may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi accused the US of committing a grave violation of international law.
The Islamic Republic of Iran condemns in the strongest terms the United States' brutal military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities. It is an outrageous, grave, and unprecedented violation of the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act of aggression.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, however, confirmed that there had been no increase in off-site radiation levels reported on any of the Iranian nuclear sites. This was also corroborated by Iran's head of the Nuclear Safety Center, Mohammad Reza Kardan. World leaders have urged restraint. Condemning the attack, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called for de-escalation, while the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the European Union leaders pushed for negotiations. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said that war is not the way to solve problems.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी निरंतर इस सोच के रहे हैं कि युद्ध मार्ग नहीं है समस्याओं के समाधान का, डायलॉग और डिप्लोमेसी, बातचीत के माध्यम से, कूटनीति के माध्यम से समस्याओं का समाधान होना चाहिए.
Meanwhile, the West Asia crisis has further escalated, with Israel launching fresh strikes in retaliation to Iran's strikes on Israel's military targets, including Ben Gurion Airport and a biological research center, injuring at least 23 people. Bureau Report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a detailed conversation with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian to discuss the prevailing situation in the region. In a social media post, PM said, and I quote, "Spoke with President of Iran Masoud Pezeshkian. We discussed in detail about the current situation, expressed deep concern at the recent escalations, reiterated our call for immediate de-escalation, dialogue and diplomacy as the way forward, and for early restoration of regional peace, security and stability." All right, and DD India's Amritpal Singh is joining us live from New Delhi, and also Vinod Kumar, DD India correspondent, is joining us from Dubai. First to you, Amritpal. Prime Minister Modi spoke to Iranian President and discussed in detail the current situation. What details do you have on this?
Well, as the Prime Minister has tweeted himself, Siddharth, that, he spoke with Dr. Pezeshkian and spoke about, expressed his deep concern at the situation. He called for immediate de-escalation and, resolving it through diplomacy. Clearly, India is concerned given the potential of de-escalation it has for the region, and India sits on the margins of the region, if not entirely in the region, but and given that whatever happens in West Asia greatly impacts India, both from the factor that there is a lot of expatriate population working in West Asia, Indian population, and also India is a big trading partner with many of the West Asian countries. So if things escalate and the situation worsens, understandably India is concerned. Also, given that India has always advocated resolution of conflicts through dialogue, and this military escalation does not augur well either for the region or for the world, which already is reeling under the effects of one war going on in Europe, cannot afford another war. So Prime Minister Modi spoke with the Iranian President and called for immediate de-escalation of the situation.
Indeed, indeed, Amritpal, it would have a wider economical impact, globally. But Amritpal, for our audience, can you just explain a bit about where has this particular conflict stemmed from? What is the core reason behind this conflict, Amritpal? Why it has started? What was the main issue?
Why it has started? Because Israel has problems with Iran and sees Iran as an arch enemy harming its interests. This conflict has been going on for a very, very long time, and Israel.
I was referring to Amritpal. I was referring to the uranium enrichment.
Uranium enrichment. Okay, yeah. I mean, the world has had problems with, especially the West and the Americans, and also the Israelis. They believe that the Iranian enrichment program is intended towards producing the nuclear bomb, enriching it to the level where they can have, the nuclear capabilities to develop a bomb, and the world has a problem with that, especially the West and Israel. The rest of the world also has concerns, but in this particular conflict, it is the American concerns, the concerns of the Western powers, and of course most immediate of Israel, because Israel believes that it will bear the brunt if Iran becomes a nuclear power or develops a nuclear bomb. So it could be the intended target. So, this concern, this whole thing has been brewing for a very long time. That's geopolitics. But this attack in the name of attacking uranium facilities has got to do more with geopolitics and the Americans siding with the Israelis in this conflict. Siddharth?
All right. Thank you so much, Amritpal. We also have our correspondent Vinod Kumar, who is joining us from Dubai. Vinod, Iran must now make peace. This is what Donald Trump said after US strike on Iran's nuke sites. Will the matter go to the negotiating table now? That is the big question everyone is hoping for, everyone is asking.
So the diplomatic efforts to resolve this escalating Iran-Israel conflict have now reached a critical impasse as the war enters its second week. With the foreign minister saying that he has categorically ruled out the negotiations with the United States while Israeli military strikes continue. We had intense diplomatic meetings last week at Geneva, New York, Istanbul, where the European Union had agreed to mediate. But Iran had maintained its willingness to engage with the European powers, but has drawn a firm red line against direct negotiations with Washington, insisting that Israeli attacks must cease before any meaningful dialogue can be made. Iranian officials have also responded by warning that any US strikes will have everlasting consequences in the region. This may be a stark pointer that a wider West Asian war may be the result of these attacks. And let's see from the point of Israel. All this latest fiasco started with the October 23 massacre by Hamas in Gaza. After that particular event, Israel has unleashed its entire might against Hamas in Gaza, and also they have parallelly struck their targets in Hezbollah, Houthis. So you see, we must see that who exactly is this Hezbollah? Hezbollah is nothing but a proxy arm of Iran. It's the greatest insurance policy of Iran. If any day US or Israel attacks Iran, they have this insurance policy that Hezbollah, who are just on the north of Israel, will be able to counter-attack Israel, and that gave Iran a significant strength. But after Israel systematically taken out their senior leaders, their movie-like pager attacks and walkie-talkie attacks, Hassan Nasrallah, the head of the Hezbollah, is gone. And concurrently, what happened in Syria is that Syrian Assad dynasty was a strong supporter of Iran for many decades. Bashar the dynasty fell on this December, and he has fled to Russia. So that means that entire Syria has gone from the ambit of Iran. Moreover, the largest airstrikes that Israel has ever conducted is not in Gaza, not in Iran, but was in Syria, to make sure that the airways are clear. All the radar sites, all the anti-aircraft guns, anti-aircraft missiles are completely destroyed. Now Iran is in a good vantage point of taking military action against Iran. So from the point of Israel, it doesn't make any sense for Israel to go to the diplomatic negotiating table, because they have a very high vantage point. This is also, we have to also understand that Israel has taken the Golan Heights back from Syria after the 1973 war. So they have the physical vantage point also from the perspective of the Mount Hermon. So all of Iran's drone attack, missile attack can be easily intercepted with the capacity of
so no negotiations as of now.
Side. So
negotiations as well. Doesn't seem
diplomacy,
like. Doesn't seem like there is negotiations will take place.
At this point, the recent new developments in Geneva, where Iran held diplomatic talks with their European counterparts, there was no way forward. So diplomatic talks are currently on a backtrack.
I'll get back to you, Vinod. We also have Dr. Rajan Kumar. He's professor. He's a School of International Studies, JNU. He's joining us live on the broadcast. Dr. Rajan, thank you so much for joining on the broadcast. First of all, to begin with, I would like to ask you that what do you make of this entire situation, what is happening? US has now officially joined the conflict of Iran and Israel. And now after strikes, President Donald Trump is saying that Iran must make peace. What do you make of this entire situation, which is there right now in front of us?
First, thank you for having me here.
Pleasure.
Let me tell you that this what we are witnessing is a massive escalation, something that we have not seen in the case of West Asia in the last 3-4 decades. Previous presidents of the United States avoided attacking Iran. Iran is an arch enemy of Israel as well as United States, but all the previous presidents of United States, they avoided this kind of escalation. So what you are seeing is completely unprecedented and is much worse even in comparison to US invasion in Iraq or US invasion in Afghanistan, because the implications are much more wider. So what are the points, what are the takeaways? Very quickly, the first thing is that at this moment, there is no space for negotiation. And as you are rightly pointing out, your correspondents also pointing out that at this point of time, President Trump might be talking about peace and making some kind of deal, but what he's expecting is a complete surrender, complete capitulation.
The Libya model are you talking about? Are you talking about the Libya model?
Yeah, I'll come to that, Libya and other models.
Okay.
First, there is no space for negotiation. And also, there is a sense, even in United States, that Trump, in a way, misled his own people. Because, he kept saying that there is a space for negotiation. He also said that for the next 2 weeks, there'll be, no attack, and he's taking time, and then he'll decide. He may or may not. So that kind of impression was given. So 2 weeks time was given. Third and most important point is that what we are witnessing is a very wide escalation of the conflict. And let me tell you that the motives of Israel and United States, motives are not limited to destroying the nuclear capacity of Iran. Basically, they are trying to degrade Iran. They are trying to humiliate. They are expecting complete capitulation and surrender of Iran. So in the coming days, we are going to witness a very wide conflict in the region because Iran is not going to surrender the way, because also it's not just about surrender. Israel, President Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu has also kind of, made a point about eliminating the regime, etc. So it's much wider than the nuclear, destroying the nuclear capacity. I think United States and Israel, they're working on a strategy which will lead to some kind of regime change. How will that happen? That's a kind of the issue for Israel and America, because there is a gap of 1,300 kilometers. They are not the neighboring country. Neither Israel and Iran are not the neighboring country. There are a few countries in between, buffer states like Jordan, Syria, Iraq, etc. So the issue now that they might be discussing in Washington and Tel Aviv, that do they plan to send ground forces or not? Because until you do that, you will not decimate the military structure of Iran. You will not completely destroy, or you will not be successful in changing the regime. So those are the strategies that Washington might be thinking at this moment. And coming to your question, what kind of model that Libya or Iraq or Afghanistan? In fact, let me tell you that US till now was very ambiguous about its strategy. US didn't know what to do, because in the Make America Great Again MAGA camp, which is the support base of Trump, if MAGA camp is divided, there are a lot of people who preferred a hands-off approach. They did not want to repeat the intervention that they did in Afghanistan or in Iraq or in Libya earlier, because those policies have not succeeded. Say, for instance, in Afghanistan, United States has spent more than $2 trillion. And after that, Taliban came back to power. And it led to massive destruction. It led to massive, this refugee crisis, humanitarian crisis, and also the American soldiers were killed. So, what we do not exactly know what kind of policy United States and Tel Aviv would like to follow at this point of time. But what we are witnessing is a very wide conflict with a very long-term implications in the coming days and also years. Okay,
you're saying that in the coming days it will be a wide conflict. What we are experiencing right now, MAGA camp was divided, and the government of America didn't know what to do at that point in time. But with time, they decided to strike Iran, and now it is much more beyond destroying the nuke sites of Iran. It is about changing the regime. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely, without any doubt, because
This is a new point that has come in.
well, no, not really, because the immediately after the attack that was made by Israel on Iran, I'm talking the first attack, and then if you listen to the speech of Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, he said that he would expect the brave people of Iran to rise up against the regime which is corrupt and which has created this crisis. So he's exhorting the people of Iran, and had they been targeting just the nuclear installations, the case would have been different. But they eliminated the military leaders, they target police stations, they also targeted some of the media institutions, etc. So let me tell you that the target, and now in a lot of places, if you see the Western media, etc., are saying that the policy is not limited to just targeting the nuclear.
It is much more beyond that. Iran,
and also because just 30 seconds, also because they know that if they leave it like this, the nuclear scientists are there, resources are there, the regime is there. If you do not completely control the regime, this regime will again come up with much more security plan to make the nuclear bombs. And that's why I'm thinking, now what? So basically, the goal is much broader than just destroying the nuclear installations.
Okay, I'll come back to you. We have Vinod Kumar, DD India correspondent. We have him from Dubai. Vinod, some reports say Iran has said that it won't allow nuclear development to stop. What do you make of this statement? And I'm again referring to the uranium enrichment, because it requires very less percentage when it comes to, the usage in a fair terms. But when it comes to 90%, a nuclear weapon could be made out of it. And some reports also suggest that Iran had enriched about 60% of the uranium. So what do you make of this particular statement that Iran has said that it won't allow nuclear development to stop?
Siddharth, this is at the core of the issues that what we are seeing, the Iranian nuclear enrichment program. This was always an issue with Iran, that the West and Israel has accused of Iran making weapons grade uranium from the 1990s onwards. Every time it was like 2 or 3 years away. 5 months back, Tulsi Gabbard, the National Intelligence Director of the United States, said that Iran is no way near to making weapons grade uranium. But day before yesterday, she took a U-turn and she aligned along with the United States President that the intelligence community may be wrong. Has Iran achieved 60% weapons grade uranium? We do not know. For the nuclear reactor, we need only uranium 235 to 2 to 3% for successful fission. But for achieving the critical mass for a weapons grade uranium, you need around 90%. And the 60% mark is a critical point. If it takes 30 days to make enriched uranium from 0 to 60%, it will take another only 1 or 2 days to make from 60 to 90%.
Right.
So that means that Iran might have acquired that capacity, or Iran is like 2 or 3 years away. The most important point here is that International Atomic Energy Agency has reported that Iran now possesses enough enriched uranium to potentially produce several nuclear weapons based on its findings of a certain category of enriched uranium from its some undisclosed sites. Most probably it will be from Fordo or Natanz site. IAEA has got that kind of enriched uranium, and Iran has also denied, not allowed the inspectors from IAEA to access those places. Whether Iran should have nuclear weapons or not, that depends upon the person who you ask. See, in 2003, 2004, George Bush has said that Iran, North Korea are the axis of evil, and North Korea attained nuclear power after that, and it acted as a great deterrent against them. Now there is no warmongering in that area. But here Iran does, we are not sure whether
tricky situation. Yes, I got you. We have paucity of time, Vinod. Let me just quickly go to Professor Kumar. Professor, just got the information that Iran's foreign minister will travel to Moscow tomorrow to meet President Putin. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting development, and I also gathered from the media news reports that he's visiting, and that's a plan. Russia, as you know, Russia and China both have condemned the attack. But let me tell you that Russia is not in the position at this moment to get involved directly by either supplying weapons, because Russia is on war in Ukraine, and also because Russia has its own ongoing negotiation with Trump. So Russia would not like to antagonize Trump at this point of time, because Trump might change his policy towards Ukraine, that he has not been supporting militarily at this point. But if Russia starts supporting Iran, then the President Trump also might change the policy. But also, let me tell you that this is the most trickiest part. That if Russia decides to support Iran, then we are into a world which would be witnessing a world war kind of situation. Why? Because Israel, United States, backed by many of the European countries on one side, and Russia, if Russia comes into play, then also expect China to play a very constructive and positive role in terms of saving and supplying weapons to Iran. But I do not think that kind of situation is emerging at this moment.
Okay.
Russia will provide diplomatic support. Russia will claim that it would like to negotiate between the parties. It will also try to put pressure in its own way on Putin and other countries to go for negotiation. But Russia will not directly get involved in the war. Yes, that's what I see.
Okay, so the big news right now is that Iran's foreign minister will travel to Moscow tomorrow to meet President Putin. And like our expert just said, if Russia will support Iran, then Trump might have to change his policies. What will happen? The situation right now is critical. As the events will unfold, we'll give you the updates. But as of now, thank you so much, Professor Kumar, for joining in on the broadcast. Amid the ongoing Israel-Iran conflict, a breakthrough in diplomacy. India has successfully persuaded Tehran to open its airspace for evacuation flights. The result? More than 1,100 Indian nationals have now been brought home safely, with 6 flights operated so far. The latest, an Airbus 34300 Mahan Airlines flight from Mashhad, carried 290 evacuees back to Delhi. Most of them were students caught in the crossfire. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya spoke exclusively to some of the returnees who shared stories of fear, hope and relief. Take a look.
Flight from Iran, Mashhad, has just landed here.
We landed safely in India. I am very, very happy. Thanks to so much for Indian government, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi and all of the author and the media.
It's a huge point because a lot of people were thinking how to get back here. Ma'am, आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या था, थोड़ा बताइए. I mean, कैसा रहा, आपको डर लग रहा था वहाँ पे ईरान में?
The Indian government and Indian embassy people were very supportive. Every day when we used to call them, they used to reply us back. ऐसा नहीं है कि they never ignored us or anything. And even the Irani people, they were welcomed us. They helped us a lot. And thanks to Indian embassy, we are back.
Huge word of the Indian government and the way Indian embassy have worked in tandem to get these people from Iran back in India safely, sound, and they are thanking the government as well as the embassy and the Iranian people out there to coordinate and make this Operation Sindhu a massive success. With camera person Praveen, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
All right, let's take a look at other stories making news. An Indian delegation led by Union Minister of State for Defence Sanjay Seth will be on a visit to Kenya and Madagascar from June 23rd to 26th. In the first leg, Raksha Rajya Mantri will visit Kenya for the joint unveiling of commemorative pillar at Taita Taveta County on June 23rd. The second leg would witness the minister visiting Madagascar for the celebrations of 65th anniversary of the independence of Madagascar and the creation of the Malagasy Armed Forces on June 26th. A 2-day free medical camp has been organized in Balrampur, Chhattisgarh to provide essential healthcare services to local residents. The initiative aims to reach underserved communities with free checkups, consultations and medicines. Doctors from various specialities are participating in the camp, offering services such as general health screenings, eye checkups and distribution of basic medication. And Jagannath Temple is preparing itself ahead of the annual Rath Yatra festival in Odisha's Puri. The temple premises have been beautifully decorated, capturing the festive spirit that surrounds the grand chariot procession. The Rath Yatra, one of the most significant Hindu festivals, draws thousands of pilgrims from across the country to witness Lord Jagannath's majestic chariot journey. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. Major breakthrough in Pahalgam terror attack case. Stay tuned to know more. Rains, storms, wildfires. Stay tuned to know the weather updates from parts of the world.
India's cities and villages, many are rethinking the way we live, the way we work, and even the way we grow. And these small shifts have the potential to actually transform our collective future.
We have conducted workshops. We do projects mostly for individuals or also corporates. So we are saying we are salvaging material and we are trying to work on it to increase the life of material.
In the short period of time, they were able to reduce the cost by 50%, drilling time by 70%. This is where the excitement is coming.
We are mainly focusing the afforestation program like tree banking, oxygen park, green island.
Fish feces is known as sludge and can be used for plantain farming, which didn't only help my plantain farming, but also all the other crops that I started to grow.
You're watching Indian NewsHour. I'm Prasar Bharati, and a quick recap of headlines. After US strikes, Iran's foreign minister says country attacked on a false claim, urges international community to condemn attacks. President Trump, in address to nation, says Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities completely obliterated, warns Iran must now make peace. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, expresses deep concern on recent escalations, says dialogue and diplomacy only way. World leaders urge restraint after US attack on Iran. UN chief calls for de-escalation. UK, EU leaders push for negotiations. In a major breakthrough in the Pahalgam terror attack case, the National Investigation Agency has arrested 2 men for harboring the terrorists who had carried out the horrendous attack that killed 26 innocent tourists and grievously injured 16 others. The 2 men, Parvez Ahmed Jothar from Pahalgam and Bashir Ahmed Jothar of Hill Park, Pahalgam, have disclosed the identities of the 3 armed terrorists involved in the attack and have also confirmed that they were Pakistani nationals affiliated to Lashkar-e-Taiba. Both the accused had knowingly harbored the 3 armed terrorists. As per NIA investigations, the 2 men had provided food, shelter and logistical support to the terrorists. Nestled on the outskirts of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar in Maharashtra, the village of Patoda stands as a remarkable example of civic planning and self-reliance, something India's major metros could take inspiration from. With a population of just around 3,350, Patoda has developed a well-rounded and high-quality living environment through thoughtful planning and community participation.
Patoda Gram Panchayat has been awarded Carbon Neutral Vishesh Panchayat Puraskar for its outstanding efforts in achieving net zero carbon emissions, showcasing how rural governance can lead the way in climate sustainability. This award highlights the village's commitment to environmentally responsible development and sets an example for other communities aiming for a greener future.
हमारा गांव एक आदर्श गांव पूरे महाराष्ट्र में जाना गया है और हमारे गांव में देखा गया तो जो टैक्स धारक है उनके लिए सबसे ज़्यादा सुविधा हमारे गांव में दी गई है, जैसे कि सोलर पैनल है, हमारे गांव में चक्की आटा है, गांव में बहुत सारे कैमरे बिठाए गए हैं। कार्बन न्यूट्रल का पुरस्कार जो मिला है, जो प्लास्टिक है उसका संकलन बहुत अच्छे से किया गया है, हमारे गांव में ट्रैक्टर दिए गए हैं।
From free floor milling to hot water for bathing, clean drinking water, residents enjoy a wide range of essential services at Patoda village. Civic benefits come with civic responsibility in the Gram Panchayat because the Panchayat follows a strict system of accountability. Villagers are required to pay property taxes without fail, and this disciplined tax recovery has enabled the village to fund innovative and sustainable initiatives. Recycled sewage water is used for agriculture, ensuring crop survival even in drought years. This has not only improved yields but also inspired others in the village to adopt water conservation practices like rainwater harvesting. Symbolizing village's deep commitment to gender equality and recognition of women's equal status in society, every household proudly displays a nameplate bearing the name of both the male and female heads of the family. Infrastructure is both modern and eco-conscious. Every household is mandated to build a toilet. Solar water heaters reduce energy costs and promote environmental sustainability. Village has RO drinking water plant which dispenses clean water through vending machines at a minimal cost. It has implemented a highly efficient waste management system, ensuring cleanliness, proper segregation, recycling and sustainable disposal practices throughout the village.
और अपने गांव का बच्चा अगर पढ़ लिख के ज़्यादा आगे गया तो गांव का ही नाम रोशन करेगा। वो किस गांव का है उस माध्यम से गांव का नाम और बढ़ जाता। इस माध्यम से हमने बहुत सारे ये काम किए। उसी से बहुत सारे लोग अभी गवर्नमेंट जॉब को ही लग गए। बड़े बड़े जॉब पे कोई तहसीलदार है, कोई जज है, कोई अलग डिपार्टमेंट का अधिकारी है। ऐसे काम हमारे गांव में आज तक हुए।
Patora's success shows that when communities combine self-discipline, transparency and forward-thinking governance, transformation isn't just possible, it becomes inevitable. Shama Mishra for DD India.
Monsoon is gaining momentum across the country, with the India Meteorological Department forecasting heavy to very heavy rainfall across Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Konkan Goa region till 27th of June. Meanwhile, northeast India will also continue to receive intense rain over the next few days. Light rainfall accompanied with thunderstorm, lightning and gusty winds likely over West India for the next 5 days. Weather Department on Sunday issued yellow alert for Delhi, warning of thunderstorms with lightning and moderate to heavy rainfall. Delhi is expected to witness largely cloudy weather over the next 7 days. Chinese authorities evacuated hundreds of villages in the Sangjar county of Hunan province as floods triggered by heavy rain inundated several houses. Footages show debris floating on floodwater, rescuing personnel evacuating villages with rescue boats. In the southern Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, rescuers waded through floodwater to evacuate 40 stranded students. China's Meteorological Administration issued a blue warning for heavy rainfall on Sunday as southern China was on high alert for more than flash floods. Parisians flocked to the city's fountains on Saturday in an attempt to stay cool as a heat wave passed over France. According to forecaster Meteo France, the temperature in the capital was around 34 degrees, rising to 37 in the southwest. France's weather department has issued a heat wave warning, particularly affecting the western regions of the country. Authorities urged residents and tourists to stay hydrated and avoid prolonged exposure to the sun during peak hours. Wildfires erupted on Croatia's Adriatic coast on Saturday, triggering evacuations. Around 160 firefighters, 50 fire department vehicles and 4 water bombers had been deployed to the area. Meanwhile, fire department officials said the blazes were under control and that they expected them to be largely extinguished by nightfall. A police official said an intensive investigation was underway into suspicions. The fires were started by arson. Arson is the intentional act of setting fire to property with the purpose of causing damage or destruction. Moving on, Ivory Coast leader Alassane Ouattara's party tapped him to run for president again. This would be his 4th time running for the president's candidacy of the West African country if he agrees. The country's 2 main opposition parties have joined forces to fight his possible candidacy. Ouattara himself has not yet confirmed whether or not he will run for a 4th term, but delegates accepted his nomination after Patrick Archie, the president of the ruling rally, proposed him. Anti-government protesters took to the streets of Panama's capital, rallying against controversial pension reforms. Protesters widely opposed the April agreement by the Panama government, which allows U.S. troops to deploy at Panamanian bases along the Panama Canal. Far from the capital, western province of Bocas del Toro has declared a state of emergency, a major banana producing region protesting against the reforms since week. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Ecuador is under high alert as leader of one of the criminal gangs of the country has escaped literal penitentiary. Ecuador is known to be one of the most violent countries in Latin America. Leader of the Los Aguilas gang escaped from a prison complex where the country's most dangerous prisoners are held. Nigeria gets back its 119 precious ancient sculptures from the Netherlands after 120 years. The former kingdom of Benin stole the sculptures during the colonial era. It is the latest return of artifacts to Africa as pressure mounts on Western governments and institutions to hand back the spoils of colonial oppressions. France celebrated its annual street music festival known as the Fête de la Musique on Saturday. Hundreds of bathers jumped from bridge into the Canal Saint-Martin in Paris following a long-known old tradition. Every year on June 21st, people around the world celebrate the International Day of Yoga. In Madrid, the 11th International Day of Yoga was celebrated with fervor and mindfulness, set against the stunning background of one of Spain's most iconic landmarks. Our correspondent Atman Sandhu reports from Madrid.
Hundreds gathered at Plaza de Oriente in front of the Royal Palace of Madrid to celebrate the International Day of Yoga. Unrolling their mats beneath the open sky, the city awoke to a collective rhythm of breath and movement. This is the 11th year of Yoga Day celebrations in Spain, marking it as one of the biggest annual events boosting India's soft power on a global scale.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Yoga cultivates kindness, compassion and unity. So let's breathe in purity and unity, and let's breathe out wars and hatred. Happy International Day of Yoga.
In Spain, this is not the only location we celebrate yoga. This is just the one location. We have already celebrated yoga in at least 15 cities in Spain. So it's a big event here, and Spanish people enthusiastically participate in the event, and it's very interesting.
Organized by the Embassy of India in Madrid in collaboration with local partners, the event brought together diplomats, yoga practitioners, Spanish citizens, and members of the Indian diaspora in a shared celebration of holistic well-being. Certified instructors guided the crowd through sequences of asanas and pranayam, reflecting this year's global theme, Yoga for One Earth, One Health.
Being an Indian for us, it's a very proud moment that yoga is getting to each and every corner of the world. And especially in Spain, the number of people who are practicing yoga is increasing day by day. And it's really proudful moment for us. And once again, happy International Yoga Day from Spain.
The message is loud and clear. Health and harmony are universal aspirations, now more important than ever in a world facing environmental and mental health challenges. The celebration today once again affirmed that yoga transcends bridges across continents, cultures, and generations. This is Atman Sandhu in Spain for DD India.
Qatar celebrated the 11th International Day of Yoga, accounting over 1,000 participants, bringing together all members together of the Indian community and yoga practitioners in a vibrant display of unity and well-being.
Happy to be here with the Indian diaspora and yoga enthusiasts living in Qatar, celebrating the International Yoga Day. Yoga has been India's gift to the world.
I'm very happy to be here, present in this yoga session with a motto, One Earth, One Health. It's for a unity. We are uniting the world, uniting the body.
It's my pleasure to be here today in the International Yoga Day. I'm invited by the Indian Embassy. It's my pleasure, it's an honor We just performed here, me and my colleague. It's such a beautiful gathering, all of us together.
Once again, Indian Embassy, in association with Indian Sports Center, has celebrated International Day of Yoga in style. We had more than 1,200 participants in Idle Indian School on the Yoga Day at evening 7 p.m.
We have just completed our International Day of Yoga celebrations here at Ideal Indian School. What a spectacular celebration. More than 1,500 participants. We had all the senior officials from the Embassy of India under the leadership of His Excellency Sri Vipulji, Ambassador of India to Qatar, and we also had His Excellency Ambassador of the Central Africa, and we had all the senior officials of various apex bodies and senior community leaders here.
Happy International Yoga Day. It was a huge event. I'm really grateful to Indian Embassy and Indian Sports Center for giving me such a huge opportunity. It was a great event. The energy through the all through the ground was really amazing.
Embassy of India in Jordan celebrated the 11th International Day of Yoga 2025 in Jordan with a live yoga session at the Royal Botanic Garden, Tel Rumman on 21st June 2025. The event saw wide participation from various sections of society comprising prominent yoga schools in Jordan, Friends of India, members of diplomatic community, healthcare professionals, students, Indian diaspora and yoga enthusiasts. The Embassy of India in Tunisia celebrated the International Yoga Day at the historic Esplanade Day of Carthage near the renowned Carthage Museum atop Birsa Hills in ancient Punic city. The event was organized in collaboration with the Tunisian Ministries of Foreign Affairs, Culture, Youth and Sports and the United Nations Mission in Tunis. The celebration received an overwhelming response with over 400 participants joining the session against the stunning backdrop of Carthage's rich heritage. Yoga enthusiasts came together to promote wellness, unity and the global appeal of yoga. And still to come on DD NewsHour. World number 2 Carlos Alcaraz to face Jiří Lečeka in the Queen's Club Championships final in London. Inter Milan snatches late win against Urawa Red Diamonds to keep their Club World Cup winning hopes alive.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar.
Johar.
It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready? Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
You're watching DDN NewsHour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj and time now for sport updates. England batters continue to fight back against India after dismissal of centurion Oli Pope on the third day of the first test in Leeds on Sunday. Pope scored 106 runs before he was dismissed by Prasidh Krishna in the first hour of play. Later, Mohammad Siraj got rid of skipper Ben Stokes. Jamie Smith has joined Harry Brook in middle. The hosts have scored over 275 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in response to India's first innings total of 471 runs. Meanwhile, Jasprit Bumrah has been the standout bowler for India with 3 wickets. World number 2 Carlos Alcaraz will be up against Jiří Lečeka of Czechia in the Queen's Club Championships final in London on Sunday. Alcaraz reached the final for the second time as he eased to a 6-4, 6-4 win over Roberto Agut in the semi-finals. Alcaraz extended his winning streak to 17 matches. The 5-time Grand Slam champion hit 36 winners and 15 aces to dispatch his fellow Spaniard in 90 minutes. Earlier, Lečeka ended Jack Draper's bid for maiden Queen's Club final appearance with a 6-4, 4-6, 7-5 win. Lečeka will play in his first ATP grass court final. He is the first Czech to reach the men's title match at the Queen's Club since Ivan Lendl lifted trophy in 1990. Russian Daniil Medvedev will clash with Alexander Bublik of Kazakhstan in the Hall Open final in Germany on Sunday. Medvedev dispatched home favourite Alexander Zverev 7-6, 6-7, 6-4 in the semi-finals to reach his first summit clash in 15 months. It was the 20th clash between the two players, with Medvedev now leading Zverev with 13 wins to 7. Earlier, Bublik rallied past Russian Karen Khachanov 4-6, 7-6, 6-4 in another semi-final. The 2023, Hall Open winner Bublik took just over 2 hours to get past Khachanov. The 28-year-old Kazakh bids for his 5th title after wins in Montpellier in 2022 and 2024 and Antwerp and Hall in 2023. Inter Milan came from behind to beat Urawa Red Diamonds and knock the Japanese side out of the Club World Cup in Seattle. Ryoma Watanabe got an early opening goal for Urawa Reds, but captain levelled the score with a clever overhead kick 12 minutes from the conclusion of the match. While Valentin turned out to be hero as he grabbed the winner 2 minutes into the injury time. In other matches, Borussia Dortmund held off Mamelodi Sundowns to win a 7-goal thriller 4-3. Fluminense rallied in the second half to beat Ulsan 4-2 and knock out the South Korean side, while Monterrey and River Plate match ended without goal. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta and Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Mansukh Mandavia flagged off the Olympic Day run from Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi on Sunday. President of the Indian Olympic Association, PT Usha, was also present at the event. Speaking to the media, Rekha Gupta said under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the nation is continuously progressing towards better sports infrastructure and facilities for athletes. The Chief Minister also said that Delhi and the entire country are fully prepared to host the 2036 Olympic Games. Later, Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports led the Fit India Sunday on Cycle campaign, promoting fitness and environmental awareness.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय ओलंपिक्स डे के अवसर पर इस बार की थीम लेट्स मूव, यानी कि हम ऐसी ही एक मुहिम देश में भी चला रहे हैं, फिट इंडिया। तो चलो आज हम देश के सभी नागरिक को, देश के सभी युवाओं को फिट इंडिया मूवमेंट के साथ जोड़ने के लिए, ओबेसिटी के सामने लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए, स्वयं को फिट रखने के लिए हम सब लोग साइकिलिंग के साथ जुड़िए।
Indian actress Madhurima Tuli hailed Prime Minister's vision for hosting 2036 Olympics. In a conversation with DD India's Priya Yadav, she said such events will definitely ensure more participation from grassroots. She also emphasized on children to work on sports and study together.
At the Special Olympics run today, going ahead with the Olympic Day celebration that is going to be happening tomorrow. And right now with me is Indian Bollywood actress Madhurima Tuli, and we'll speak to her about how such events are going to be important and how such events will play a role in finally hosting the 2036 Olympics and Prime Minister's vision of hosting 2036 Olympics.
I think it holds a very special position because we have all gathered to spread awareness how important Olympics and sports is, and our Honorable Prime Minister, he's always very keen towards sports. So it's a great initiative from Fit India movement and our Prime Minister, so that it so that we go to the youth and tell them that you need to join sports, because we have a lot of opportunities come up now, and you have you can win medals and be globally be a global star. So with studies, I think sports is also important.
Also, when we talk about the Fit India cycling event that is going to take place here today, it has been happening since so many Sundays. So how do you think, how important it is for people for all age groups to take up cycling and all of these fitness activities?
So this is my second time Sundays on cycle. I came last Sunday, I was here only, and I was thrilled to be a part of it. The crowd was so energetic, and it's so important to spread awareness, because this is especially to fight against obesity and for health. And I think the stage we are in right now, we need to take care of our health. We are in such a competitive world, we don't take care of our health. And I think it's a great initiative so that we have a pollution-free environment also, because it doesn't take any petrol or fuel. We don't have anything as such in cycle, and it's very affordable. So I think it's a great initiative so that people are fit as well as we have a pollution-free environment.
That was Madhurima Tuli speaking to us about the importance of fitness activities and also encouraging on Prime Minister's vision for hosting the Olympics in 2036. With camera person Lalit, this is Priya Yadav for DD India.
The Indian Navy's latest stealth multi-role frigate Tamil is set to be commissioned on July 1st this year at Kaliningrad, Russia. Upon commissioning, Tamil will join the sword arm of the Indian Navy, the Western Fleet under the Western Naval Command. Tamil stands as a testament to the long-standing Indo-Russian cooperation and friendship which has stood the test of time. Tamil has been built at the Yantar shipyard in Kaliningrad, Russia, and is the last warship to be inducted from a foreign source. In line with the Government of India's impetus on Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India initiatives.
In the vast seas, his legendary weapon rises as a new warrior, INS Tamal.
That's all for this edition of DD India NewsHour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India NewsHour.